beginning of the night that this card could be something special. 5 fights, 5 finishes, living up to the hype.
LFA has gotten better as the year has gone on, I'll be honest. They've done a great job. They've had to scramble on some cards, but this one, hey, excitement, fireworks the whole way through.
And it's crazy to think about how far this promotion has come in 1 year. This is already their 23rd event. They just formed with the RFA and Legacy merging last year. It's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, and they're keeping up with our miles in terms of United.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And not many people can say that. And nice plug for United. I want the first class upgrade tomorrow, okay? What a night, though, and we're continuing with a very intriguing matchup, Pat, in the main event. The welterweight title on the line. You have undefeated James Nakashima taking on the champion Derrick Krantz. And guys have really finished their fights in different methods. I should say lack of finishing when you look at James Nakashima. Right. 7 wins, all coming by way of decision. Krantz ending 20 of his victories, 19 of them taking out his opponent. But 2 different styles in some ways. It just seems to be like a very interesting matchup.
I think, personalities of a fighter. Derrick Krantz, when we first watched him come into Access TV broadcasts, he would come out with reckless abandon, a very strong guy, a very aggressive guy, and he would just physically crush people. Now and then he would get tired, though, because of that style, get himself in trouble in fights, and would lose now and then because of that. He's matured. He's gotten a lot better. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he understands that, look, it's not all about going out and crushing people right away. It's about setting things up, setting traps for fighters, and as you mature, that happens. Look, he's got almost 30 fights. It happens by that time, trust me. Nakashima, on the other hand, the guy that's 7-0, his personality is one that's, he wants to be more exciting, but he also wants to make sure and ensure that he gets the W. That explains the undefeated record. I don't blame a guy for that. Look.
You can't.
Look.
That's what it's about, right? Getting the W.
Look, Floyd Mayweather made more money than any athlete on the planet. He makes more money than entire teams make because he has a great defense and he fights cautiously. People don't cuss him for it. Sure, they might feel it's boring, but it's artistry to watch him fight. And James Nakashima goes out, he dominates, he doesn't get hurt. And there's a lot to be said for that, Ron.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, Derrick Krantz will defend his welterweight title for the first time tonight, taking on the number 3 ranked James Nakashima in our Access TV Fights rankings. And we still have Chris Curtis from CES at number 1, Pat, 17-5. This is a very tough and stacked division.
It is. No, the welterweight division through history has always had some very scary guys. Nick Barnes, very good. Frinku, the Aussie, is one of the scariest strikers in MMA today. I don't think anybody wants to stand up and strike with that guy right now. Nakashima coming in at 3rd. But Chris Curtis, look, he's earned that number 1 position in my mind. And until the LFA guys actually fight Chris Curtis from CES, they can't take that number 1 ranking away from him.
Well, we hope to see Chris Curtis back in action in the CES promotion very soon. Well, we are set to go for our main event. The LFA welterweight title is up for grabs. Let's see how the Super Coach breaks up this matchup.
All right, again, joined by Tanya Evinger, UFC standout, as we break down the title fight tonight between Derrick Krantz and James Nakashima. For James Nakashima, in my mind, because he is such a standout wrestler, he needs to blend his striking and his wrestling together in a way that flows like this. So when Nakashima throws his strikes, he needs to be touching a leg, getting in so that the leg goes back, the posture of the body changes, and then uppercuts and hooks can come in, and then hit real takedowns, or at least push Derrick Krantz back against the cage. This also dictates the pace and hopefully getting Derrick Krantz tired. Derrick does have a tendency to get tired later on in fights if they do go long, so that's what Nakashima is probably hoping for. As far as Derrick Krantz is a guy that needs to control the center of the cage, in my mind, against Nakashima because of Nakashima's wrestling ability and able to take people down off of the cage. So, in my mind, Krantz needs to dictate in the middle, use a lot of feints and fakes to get bad takedown attempts out of Nakashima, being able to cut angles and strike and use his defensive grappling a lot better that way. So that's the way I see it break it down.
We appreciate Tanya Evinger for helping out the Super Coach tonight. Well, this is the main event. Nakashima, Krantz for the LFA welterweight title. Mike Kendall will now introduce our main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the main event of the ring. Please welcome first, making his way to the LFA octagon, fighting out of the blue corner, the challenger, James Nakashima.
With a spotless 7-0 record, fighting out of Glendale, Arizona, and representing the MMA Lab, James Nakashima has an incredible wrestling pedigree. After junior college, he went and wrestled at the University of Nebraska. 7-0, all 7 wins coming by way of decision. And Pat, he's not avoiding anyone either. The combined record of his opponents, 42 wins and 19 losses.
No, that's very solid. One of the better ones we've seen, obviously, Ron. And that says a lot about Nakashima going undefeated against that quality of opponents. And he is dominant. He uses his wrestling. He's he oppresses people. He throws them down. He holds them down. He grinds them out. He roughs them up. And really demoralizes people with his wrestling ability and his style of fighting. He does have heavy hands, but he doesn't fully, I think, have confidence in his boxing, his striking ability. It takes a big fight, a guy that pushes you, takes you out of your comfort zone to find out whether you have it yet or not, to be honest. And this may be the fight that does that to James Nakashima.
And now making his way to the LFA octagon, fighting out of the red corner, the champion, Derrick Krantz.
A huge ovation here for the champion, D-Rock. The LFA Welterweight champ, number 2, ranked in the Access Fights rankings. Former Legacy Welterweight champion, 20-9. 4-1 in his last 5 fights, 19 finishes and 20 victories, 11 submission wins, 8 victories coming by way of TKO or knockout. And look at the combined record of his opponents, Pat. He's faced some veterans, 401 wins compared to 228 losses.
Yeah, and obviously doing the math on that with 30 professional fights almost, you're going to have an awful lot of fights on both sides, so that's understandable. But he has fought guys that are very tough, a lot of experience, and he has an awful lot more experience over Nakashima, which in this sport, I've said it time and time again, experience is literally everything. You can see it happen in the cage. 95% of the time, the guy with the experience, if he's still in his prime, remotely in his prime, is going to give the other guy an awful lot of problems and more than likely will come out on top. So the odds makers on this fight probably obviously taking that into account. And with Krantz, as you're seeing here on your screen, has some horrible, horrifying, brutal ground and pound, super heavy hands. You don't want to get hit by the guy.
Here's how the main event breaks down. The challenger is 28, the champion 29. Both fighters stand at 5'10". Krantz has a 3-inch reach advantage in the arms. Nakashima longer in the legs. Here's Mike Kendall for the official fighter introductions.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. This fight is scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds for the LFA Welterweight World Championship. It is brought to you by Inca Cola, the Golden Cola. Drink an ice cola to unleash your inner warrior. Check us out on the web, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Inca Cola USA. That's Inca with a C, Cola with a K, USA. And now, for all those watching around the world on Access TV, and for those here in Bossier City, Louisiana, are you ready for introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, this wrestler stands 5'10", weighed in 170 pounds. He holds a professional record, 7 wins, 0 defeats. Training out of the MMA Lab and Hammer Boxing. Fighting out of Glendale, Arizona, James Nakashima. His opponent across the octagon, fighting out of the red corner, is a grappler standing 5'10", weighed in 169 pounds. He holds a professional record, 20 wins, 9 defeats, with 8 wins coming by way of knockout, 11 via submission. Training out of Team 515 and fighting out of Marshall, Texas, your reigning, defending LFA Welterweight World Champion, Derrick Krantz. Your referee in charge of the main event, Stan McCandlish.
All right, guys, this is title fight. 5 5-minute rounds. We went over the rules earlier. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. If you want to touch it up, do it now. Let's go back and get ready.
The LFA welterweight strap on the line here in Bossier City.
Round one, fight!
James Nakashima, the challenger. Derrick Krantz, the champion. Nakashima in the black and blue trunks. Derrick Krantz in the black and white. Krantz coming off that dominant LFA title fight victory over Ben Newman. Was back at LFA 12. Low kick from Nakashima.
Nakashima, nice job getting out of the way of that and unloading with his left.
Nakashima said his game plan really just made some adjustments since the last fight, got mentally stronger. His plan is to keep pushing and control the pace, and like you said, Pat, that's what he's about.
Yeah, Nakashima did a good job finally landing that left, drove Krantz back. Oh.
Krantz drops Nakashima. Nakashima going for the single.
There's Krantz's power, muscled out of that single leg. Nakashima felt the power of Krantz's punches, too.
Right away. Eight victories by way of knockout or TKO for Krantz. D-Rock.
Krantz's chin was up high there. Lucky he didn't get clipped.
Well, Nakashima has been on a mission to get a finish. After his last loss, victory, was very impressive, and he was still upset that he did not take out his opponent. That was LaRue Burley at LFA 11. Said he had him, Pat, at the end of that third round.
Yeah, he said that basically his opponent was rolling around on the ground, grimacing and making funky noises, basically in pain, and he just didn't step it up. And, you just through time you figure things out. He's trying to get that instinct to finish people, smell the blood.
The bottom line, a victory is a victory, and James Nakashima is 7-0 and has earned this title fight.
Besides getting clipped and getting put down here early, Nakashima's striking actually looks pretty good. That was a lunging hook. No setup.
Interestingly enough, coming into this fight, the champion, according to MMAOddsBreaker.com, Derrick Krantz was the underdog at +200. James Nakashima, a 3-1 favorite.
Nice.
Oh, big shots though from Krantz, though.
Big lead uppercut there. Nakashima ducking into it.
Nice head movement from Nakashima.
I'm waiting for a head kick because both guys are ducking. Every time something comes, they're ducking to the same spot. That's building a pattern that people can figure out. Can't do that. Oh, he got stuck. Is that a headbutt?
It could have been.
Or a poke to the eye.
There's, looks like.
Oh, boy, that was ugly.
Cut. It looks like Derrick Krantz is cut.
That's bad. That's bad. That finger went right in his eye.
You know what? James Nakashima in his last fight, he was deducted a point for a low blow, and he poked his opponent in the eye.
Krantz is very angry right now.
Yes, he is.
That's not good. They need to clean him up and take a look at that.
Krantz's corner is saying, calm down, champ.
Let me know.
This makes Krantz come out. If they allow this to continue, if he can see, they allow this to continue, Krantz is going to step it up, I guarantee it.
Krantz is very unhappy. We take a look at this.
There's the fingers.
Open fingers, right.
And then the punch.
Oh, right to the eye. His gloves.
That comes from training in boxing gloves. Boxers do it. Everyone that wears boxing gloves does that. Posting up on people's faces or use it as a depth finder. And in MMA, you can't do it with the gloves that we wear because, well, that's what happens.
Now you have to wonder if referee Stan McClandish will deduct a point for that, Pat.
Well, it's the first infraction, so I don't think you can just take a point. I mean, it does happen. It happens a lot in MMA, so I don't think he did it on purpose. As I said, look, when you train in boxing gloves, spar in boxing gloves, you do it constantly, but you never poke somebody in the eye with your finger because they're covered in a boxing glove. So it's just a habit that everybody does. And you have to train in boxing gloves when you're sparring for MMA. You can't spar in MMA gloves and have a long career. It's just not going to happen. So, too many cuts are going to happen, broken facial bones, everything else. So it's just, that's the way it is. Until they figure out what to do with the gloves, to protect fighters' eyes, it's going to be ongoing, unfortunately.
There are many that are working on different types of gloves, including former Grudge owner Trevor Whitman. He's got his own line of gloves coming out designed to avoid things like this. And just an unfortunate part of MMA for sure. I don't want to insinuate that Nakashima did it on purpose. However, in his last fight, he poked his opponent in the eye. LaRue Burley took a shot in the eye, too. Now, Krantz is going to take as much time here as possible.
Right. Is his eyesight getting better or worse, though?
What if he can't answer the bell here, Pat?
Well, I mean, it's an infraction on Nakashima. It'd probably be a no contest because it hasn't gone that far into the fight. Right. Had it been later on in the fight, they would go to the cards probably. But because it's a foul, Nakashima could get DQ'd.
Well, the fans here in Bossier City rallying for the support of the champ, Derrick Krantz. Tough spot for D-Rock to be in right now. It looks like the champion is going to continue.
I've warned him to keep his fists closed, keep his hands
The people in the crowd
they're not happy, Pat.
Well, they're more angry than Derrick Krantz, actually.
Yeah. Well, Krantz, you have to just regroup and, if you're going to continue, get it out of your mind, right, and start thinking about the game plan.
Focus on the fight. Focus on the fight.
Yeah, the fans here.
Yeah, we've got some interesting fans behind us here. You go poke his eye to his head.
We might need our executive producer, Jason Vaughn, to translate for us. The bottom line is they are supporting their local fighter.
Are you looking to get yourself fired by our executive producer?
Oh, Jason.
Did you just make fun of him being from the Deep South?
That's your take.
Dude.
That's your take.
I love the people from the Deep South.
I was actually giving Jason Vaughn some props. You're the one tearing him down.
Oh, you're in trouble, dude.
Oh, you're in
trouble.
And again, there's still the ringside doctor taking a close look at Derrick Krantz. He wants to continue, but physically, is he able? As we take another look at that shot.
How deep does the knuckles go? Oh yeah.
Right away, he knew it.
In pain. Unless you've been poked in the eye or had an elbow hit you directly in the eye, the tip of an elbow, you just don't understand how bad that hurts. Great street fighting technique, I will say.
Good point.
Any of the women out there watching, you jab somebody in the eye when they're attacking you, well, you can at least get away from them.
Stop them in their tracks.
You want to wait another 30 seconds?
Again, Derrick Krantz taking as much time as possible to regroup.
Yeah, we're ready to rock and roll here.
Yes, we are. No point deducted.
Ready?
So we pick up midway through the first round.
Keep your fist closed.
What's the clock at?
1:45. The first round.
Keep your fist closed.
Almost looks like that left eye pad is closed for Derrick Krantz.
Nakashima trying to go to that eye again with his punches.
submission from Krantz.
They're trading. Oh. Now, Krantz has got to be getting angry now. Poke to the eye, low blow. It's a moving, it's a moving target, Ron. It's a moving target.
I understand, Pat, but again, he's a guy whose last fight was deducted a point for a low blow and a poke to the eye. Under a minute to go.
Don't open your hand again.
Take a few of those shots. Yeah, that'll motivate you for sure. Champion Derrick Krantz having a hard first round here. 30 to go. Low kick from Nakashima.
Krantz has got to lean off center. He's leaning backwards, taking his top of his body past his hips and his feet. But you got to come back to center with the top of your body before you can even be effective and throw anything back. His feet are not moving his head.
Nakashima ties Krantz up. That's going to do it for round one. A tough first round for the champ, for sure. Fighters return to their corners. Let's listen into their camps.
One shot. Work that jab. He throws that jab, skip the rock, and stay moving on that division.
It's getting better. Can you see? I think it was just a blood in there, okay? Deep breaths. Keep comfortable in front of you. Go to away from your right. Shoot with your right. He's trying to draw you into his left. You see it? Shoot with your right. You're seeing it. Everything he throws is huge. You're seeing it. Slip, counter, and then slip back out. Just don't stay there. Watch your work. You're in balance. So go right. Want some more water? James, behind that low kick. Still.
You heard there. Well, I'll talk to it in a second, Pat. Let's check out the highlights.
There's Nakashima going down. The heavy hands of Derrick Krantz. Look, when they find their target, they will hurt you. So Nakashima had better pay attention to his defense.
Gave that first round to Krantz, Pat, because of that knockdown.
But besides that, it was very close. Both guys landed a lot of shots.
Absolutely. Well, we're listening to Nakashima's corner, and here comes Krantz firing quickly.
Moved his head nicely and then exploded on Nakashima. Nice work.
John Crouch in the corner of James Nakashima. Will be representing Benson Henderson tomorrow at Bellator, but made it here to Louisiana tonight. Oh,
loading up.
Wicked shot from Krantz, just misses. Nakashima looking for the target. Pushes Krantz back. Low kick.
That inside kick's adding up. Krantz is still loading up. He's got to stop doing that. He's got the power. He doesn't need to. Both coaches are telling their guys, circle away from the power hand, which, that's customarily how coaches in striking teach. I go totally against that because I want to move directly at that now and then because I want them to throw it, because once they throw it, they're done throwing and I can attack their strong side and they've got nothing left for me. The guys like Rob Lawler and Jens Pulver, people like that. Pulver was great at it. Lawler's obviously great at it also.
Nakashima uses the feint and gets in there. Low kick from Nakashima. And he's got some strong kicks. No emotion on the face of James Nakashima.
Never is.
Always just calm and collected.
Nakashima, good job getting out of the way of that stuff. You can tell Nakashima respects the power from Krantz after getting stuck in the first round with it.
Are you at all surprised Nakashima hasn't tried to take Krantz down yet?
Well, he has, and Krantz has shut it down. Nakashima, good job blocking that kick, but Krantz has been able to power out of his takedown attempts. You know, Nakashima's felt his power when they've tied up.
And there you go.
You can see he ripped him right off of his legs. You got to be a strong guy to do that to Nakashima because he was in deep on the legs.
Krantz said he expected Nakashima to try and take him down. He said if they go to the ground, my jiu-jitsu is better. I'm fine with it. Spinning elbow from Nakashima. A little blood now still trickling from the eye below. Left eye of Derrick Krantz. Under 2 minutes to go, round 2. We are scheduled for 5. LFA 23 main event. Good counter shot from Nakashima.
Krantz needs to be throwing feints and fakes, getting Nakashima off balance. Those feints and fakes make people throw. They think they're countering something that doesn't exist, and then actually it turns you into the counter puncher. It's just a lot of guys aren't using it enough.
This corner saying be fast. Nakashima.
Both guys are strong. They're muscling each other around.
No kidding.
These guys are thoroughbreds, there's no doubt.
Two of the top welterweights in the LFA division. Under a minute to go.
Body lock now by Nakashima. There it is.
And the wrestler. All over Krantz now.
Lock the leg, puts him down. Krantz is carrying his weight right now. It adds up.
And they break apart. Big escape for Krantz there. 10 seconds. Krantz just not finding the target.
Well, like I say, the feints and the fakes would make Nakashima move his head into a certain place. You figure out their pattern, where they're going when you feint and fake, and then you throw.
Second round is in the books, and we check in with the corners again.
Left. Doing good. Don't check down in front of him. There you go. Hey, don't try to kill him with a shot. Get him down, get on top. It's okay. I just can't use this on him. You need to be on top. How bad do you want this? Go out there and take it. Don't let this chump fucking poke you in the eye and say good help. What's your vision? What's the left? Go to 1-2.
This fight just turned. It's going straight downhill for him right here. I mean, good job on him. Keep that doing.
Seconds out.
Look for the shot.
Well, according to Pat Miletich, James Nakashima has tied up this fight 1 round apiece.
Closely contested fight, though, so far.
A great shot from our crew that it's showing the eye of Derrick Krantz. That cut is right on the eyelid. Nasty cut.
Right in the crease by the eye.
Yeah.
And the nose.
Pat, just how difficult as a fighter is it to just put that out of your mind and do what you're supposed to do? You suffer a nasty cut like that early in a fight.
I mean, you're obviously going to be aware of it. You don't want to get hit there anymore or as little as possible. Krantz is out of his game right now. He's not being composed in his striking.
What would you like to see him do now?
To be honest with you, I've said it time and time again. I'll say it all night probably for the rest of this fight. There's no feints and no fakes. Every time Krantz explodes, Nakashima knows it's a real attack, and he just moves his head and gets out of the way most of the time. And you gotta use feints and fakes. So everybody listening out there who's going to plan on fighting, please plan on using feints and fakes.
Write
How's
it
that
down,
for an
people.
ad?
Write it
Feints and
down.
fakes.
Control your weapons.
It's my pet peeve.
Take the advice of the UFC Hall of Fame, all right?
It's like slow drivers in the left lane, man. Both are pissing me off.
There's exchanging knees in the clinch, and now they break free. Fans here, Louisiana.
Oh, that was straight to the groin. Krantz is furious.
Do you blame him?
No, I don't.
Now it'll be interesting to see if Stan McClintock does go ahead and deduct a
That'll
point.
probably be a point. That'll
That's
probably be a
two
point.
low blows.
Got to control that. Okay? That's the last warning.
There's our screaming lady that's been following us at every LFA event, I think. At least down here in the South. He splits the uprights on this one.
How much time you got? How much time you got?
I know James Nakashima is not purposely trying to do it, but 2 shots.
Warning, next time he gets a point.
Tell you what, when things are going this wrong for a fighter, especially the champ, you know, that's when you just got to suck it up.
If a point is not deducted, I will be shocked. Now, I'm not sure if McClintock saw that first low blow. I mean, we heard it, but I don't know if he saw it. Now, there's the first one that Krantz took.
And we heard the cop, and I think the referee thought it was on the leg, but
Man, the champion Derrick Krantz facing some adversity in this title fight.
so here's the thing, and this is honest to God truth. I've said this before on this network. In Muay Thai, I was taught to take your metal cup, you take sheet metal screws, and you screw them from the inside out and then back them back out. And what that does, it puts a bunch of ridges, very sharp ridges on your cup. So if a guy has a tendency to knee you in the groin, kick you in the groin, if they're doing it on purpose, they're going to shred their own leg or their own knee. And I'm not telling guys to do that, but number one, you should be wearing a legitimate metal cup. And two, yes, I did that when I was fighting.
Amazing. Incredible insight. I love it.
Well, hey, if they're going to kick you in the groin, if they're going to follow you, they're going to pay a price for it, right?
No, I get it. I get it.
Dirty fighters pay a price for being dirty then, right?
Yeah.
That's old school, buddy.
That's as old school as
That's
it
an old
gets.
school trick.
You ready? There are young MMA fighters right now that are like,
That are going,
writing this
"Genius,
down.
this
Why
guy's a
didn't I think of
genius."
this?
Dear
Happens
God.
again, I'm taking a point. Okay?
Like he's a Hall of Famer, people. Here we go. We will reset
Ready?
as the fans here continue to chant D-Rock. He didn't have motivation to knock out Nakashima earlier. He sure does now.
Getting physical.
Now he's powering in.
Boy, that knee almost caught Krantz in the groin again.
It's just misses with the cross on the break. Under 3 to go. Of course, this title fight is scheduled for 5.
Nakashima keeps going back to the inside of that leg.
Left gets through. Krantz from the Muay Thai. Nakashima from the Muay Thai clinch. Midway through this third round.
There was Nakashima throwing a jab and feinting the takedown and then coming back upstairs. That's what we talked about in the breakdown. That's what he needs to do a lot of to get Krantz out of position, defending a takedown that's not coming and then unloading on his face.
Fighters break here as we approach the 2-minute mark. Despite the blood still trickling from the left eyelid of Derrick Krantz, it does not seem to be affecting the champ too much. Of course, easy for me to say.
Derrick Krantz is loading up too much and getting himself out of position, not only to get countered with punches, but also with takedown attempts or get locked up, get tied up by Nakashima.
Nakashima delivered a nasty spinning elbow. Now, Nakashima pressing the action.
Nakashima's winning this round.
Now 115, let's go!
Nakashima has gone the distance in all 7 of his fights, all 7 victories. That means he's got great endurance. Derrick Krantz, we've seen him get tired later on in fights.
And Nakashima was well aware of that. He said the longer this fight goes, the better for him, and wants to take Krantz into that deep water.
Krantz able to stop that takedown again.
There's some power from Derrick Krantz.
It's not like Krantz has a slouch wrestler attacking his legs right now either.
No. And again, the Nakashima, that's his pace.
Yeah.
And this is what he does.
Coming forward.
Krantz tried the feint and getting in there, but just missed.
We've seen Krantz crush people with that uppercut. He hasn't landed it yet on Nakashima.
Oh, staying jab from Nakashima. Krantz ate that one.
Nakashima's outboxing him right now. That's just simply because Krantz is loading up. That's just
telegraphed it.
Yeah.
And Nakashima was prepared for that high kick, easily blocked it. Round 3 is in the books.
Here it is. We talked about this before the fight. Look at him touching the leg and getting Krantz to bite a little bit on the takedown attempt. And then through punches again. He needs to do more of that, changing up his levels of attacks. And then here's the spinning elbow. He hit with the tricep, luckily. The point of that elbow hitting somewhere on the temple or the jaw could spell the end.
Hey, we're in Texas. We need to go forward on 4 and 5. You hear me?
Nakashima getting advice from John Crouch.
Here, you hear me?
MMA Lab. And again, Pat gave Nakashima that 3rd round.
Up 2 rounds to 1 on the champ right now.
Entering into the championship rounds now.
Round 4, fight!
4th round underway. LFA Welterweight Champion Derrick Krantz and the challenger James Nakashima.
Nakashima's coming forward still. Little dirty boxing.
Picking up the pace here in the 4th round. Nakashima ready just to counter when Krantz comes firing in. Gets his corner yelling for combinations. These are the best shots we've seen from Krantz here in a little while. Spins out.
Nakashima's doing a good job of countering. You can see things coming. Helps you prepare when you can see the techniques coming like that. Krantz trying to put the muscle down on him. Nakashima slivers out of it.
Nakashima pressing Krantz up against the cage. Krantz's corner yelling for him to hit him in the body.
Sam, get off the cage. Off of the cage.
Power and Nakashima holding him there. It's, of course, they're saying hit him in the thigh. They just want him to connect anywhere now. Under 3 to go. Nakashima's had some success when the fighters break. So the little cut may have opened up the forehead of Nakashima.
Tell you what, Nakashima got hit and countered right away. That was a very quick counter. Another. His striking has improved a lot.
And his hands look much faster than we've seen in the past.
Derrick Krantz might be getting tired now, my friend. Nakashima's been picking at him and staying in his face.
Nakashima, crazy cardio. Again, there's the counter from Nakashima. Under 2 to go.
I'm honestly surprised that Krantz hasn't exploded on a double leg at some point in these exchanges, because he does have good takedowns when he wants them.
Krantz slips that head kick through.
There's another one.
And now Nakashima takes Krantz down. First time fighters are on the canvas. The 2 grapplers.
Wrestler's instinct, give him your leg and he'll take you down.
See what Nakashima can do from this position. Really, what both fighters can. Nakashima just misses with that elbow. And Krantz powers up.
Nakashima with double unders, muscling him back to the cage again. And nice drop. Krantz getting the legs apart to stop that.
Wow.
Quick thinking by Derrick Krantz. That was nice.
Very nice takedown defense from Krantz. And smothering Nakashima just all over Krantz.
Krantz needs to move his feet, get off the cage.
2 extremely powerful welterweights, and now Nakashima takes Krantz down again. Twice in this 4th round.
Nice job trying to take the post from his arm here. 2-on-1 wrist ride. That is a pain in the ass when you're the guy on bottom. He needs to be stripping that hand off right now is what Krantz needs to be doing. Can't let a guy control your wrist like that.
10 to go.
He's getting hit a lot right now.
Fourth round comes to an end with James Nakashima all over the champion, Derrick Krantz. And the ringside doctor coming in to check out the eye again of the champion.
Derrick has had an uphill battle this entire fight since after that. The groin strike. Krantz throwing the uppercut, hitting the chest, the pec of Nakashima. Both guys in their dirty boxing. Here's the head kick coming up. All foot, luckily for Nakashima.
Yeah.
Didn't bother him. Nice job. Body lock, slips behind and dumps him, and then slides off to the side. Make Derrick carry his weight here, and then goes right away to that far side wrist. Pull that post out from underneath Krantz. You got to strip those hands right away with your free hand.
Nakashima earns that round as well, as we're checking quickly with Phoenix.
I was in Krantz's corner, and basically they spent the entire time tending to his eye, making sure that he keeps it open and getting that blood out of his eye.
Thank you, Phoenix. 5th and final round, and right away Nakashima gets Krantz to the ground.
He senses Derrick's tired right now.
First title defense for Derrick Krantz, and it's been an uphill battle from the beginning. James Nakashima delivering blows to the ribs.
Nakashima talked about keeping a steady pace in this fight. And slowly elevating as it got further into the fight because he knew that Derrick Krantz in his mind would get tired.
Yeah, it's been a very impressive game plan executed by James Nakashima for sure.
Nakashima, you do not want that arm underneath your head, especially a wrestler. That's their hook that they need to advance up your body. When you go to put that in underneath your neck, you got to grab it and block it. Don't let it get in there. Nice work to the body. Setting up potentially an arm triangle. If that left arm shoots underneath the head.
You just wonder how much Krantz still has left.
Nakashima reaching behind the back and trapping the right arm of Derrick Krantz.
Slick.
That gets you in some serious trouble. If he can get rid of the top arm also. I've seen guys like Ryan Schultz, who was a really tough fighter, did that against Chris Hordecki and destroyed Hordecki because of it.
IFL days.
There's that 2-on-1 again. Krantz has got to be stripping those with his other hand. Got no choice.
Smothering pace from James Nakashima.
Guy that was a standout wrestler in high school in the state of Illinois and then went to Nebraska to wrestle in college.
Louisiana fans encouraging the champ. Looking to dig deep. Right now, Derrick Krantz has no answer for this smothering approach from James Nakashima.
I think Nakashima will be satisfied with a decision in this fight if he gets it.
I think so too. Midway through the 5th and final round, the LFA welterweight title on the line. Nakashima blows to the ribs.
Derrick Krantz got to begin moving his hips.
Well, besides the couple of fouls thrown from James Nakashima, he has been very impressive tonight.
You got to remember, Derrick Krantz is fighting in front of the hometown, basically friendly fans. Nakashima comes into very unfriendly waters to do this.
Very true.
Not easy to do.
Nope. Once Nakashima got Krantz down here in the 5th round, Krantz just doesn't have the...
He's trying to get that key lock locked up. Krantz is an awfully strong guy if he can get that locked up. I tell you what, Nakashima's arm can be in jeopardy.
Derrick Krantz looking for a Hail Mary here in the 5th and final round.
Nakashima posting up with his foot to get leverage to stop this. Oh, buddy.
Could the champ pull it off?
Buddy. Minute left. He is putting everything into this.
Tweaking that arm. Bending it into a press on. Nakashima is out.
A lot of energy was just dumped on that submission, I can tell you.
That's all you got,
He was
though.
torquing for everything he had.
1 minute to go, under a minute. Krantz giving it everything he had. And the blood still streaming from the cut he suffered in the 1st round from the eye poke.
Punishing shots to the body here, man. He's making Krantz move every time he starts doing it.
Nakashima just destroying the ribs in this 5th round.
Body shots.
10 to go.
If Nakashima wins this decision, I would be willing to bet there's a rematch because of the eye situation.
And you can see good sportsmanship from James Nakashima, but Derrick Krantz
not happy.
Not happy.
You can't blame him.
No, not at all. I understand it. Listen, low blows and finger pokes happen, but doesn't mean it's not going to upset you.
Adversity.
From the beginning, Pat.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, the champion was in trouble.
Right.
That finger poke cut him early on. And then he was fighting just to get back in, keep this competitive. But a solid game plan executed to perfection by James Nakashima. Judges are calculating their scores as we check out the action in the 5th round.
Nakashima, beautiful job early on, gets a single and dumps Krantz. He sensed that he could get that takedown or he wouldn't have gone for it so early. And here's the brutal body pounding from Nakashima. You can see the impact. It's a great time to throw body strikes. You change your opponent's breathing. It hurts them. You've got their arm blocked so they can't defend. Here's Krantz at one last attempt, giving everything he's got on that arm. And Nakashima able to get out of this.
Fans here in Louisiana showing their support for both these fighters. John Crouch here.
Crouch doing a good job coaching again.
As always, getting some airline miles. He'll corner Benson Henderson tomorrow night.
Busy man.
And it looks like the judges have calculated their scores. Let's get the official decision from Mike Kendall.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds of championship MMA, we go to the judges' scorecards. One judge scores the bout 49-46, Nakashima. One judge scores the bout 48-47, Krantz. And your third and final judge scores the bout 50-45 for your winner by split decision and new LFA Welterweight World Champion, James Nakashima.
LFA welterweight champion James Nakashima takes the belt from Derrick Krantz, and the new champion is with Phoenix.
Congratulations. Obviously, the crowd not so happy with you right now. I'm sure that this was the goal. Talk to me about the fight.
Hey, first off, coming down here in the dirty South and winning this title, I wouldn't want to win it anywhere else. I love this place. I know you're upset that your champion got beat, but I'm the best welterweight in the world, and you guys got to see it tonight.
James.
I'll beat your ass right now.
There's a little bit of animosity right now. Obviously, they're a little bit upset. If he wanted a rematch, especially because of the eye poke, would you grant that?
Hell no, I'd beat his ass, and I'll beat his coach's ass right now, too.
I think we should just settle it between the fighters. Thanks for putting on a great performance tonight, and congratulations.
Wow, some chaos here in the octagon. The corner of Derrick Krantz taking exception to the eye poke and the low blow.
Nakashima came out of his shell apparently tonight and starting to talk a little smack. I see potential rematch. I'm no marketing genius, but I think it potentially makes sense.
I do too, especially, Pat, when you go back and you look at this fight and the adversity that the champ had to go through. I mean, one judge actually gave the fight to Krantz. Not sure about that, but Nakashima earns the split decision victory. You know, you got to take it from the champ.
And potentially that rematch. And look, in my mind, Nakashima won the fight clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed. Me too.
Eye poke certainly caused some adversity for Derrick Krantz, but in the end, a rematch, if it happens, probably should happen on neutral ground so that we don't have Nakashima being attacked in the dirty South.
There you go. Well, James Nakashima becomes the new LFA welterweight champion. And we keep the MMA and Muay Thai action rolling on Access TV Fights. Next week, we are back at Foxwoods for the world's premier Muay Thai organization live.